Chapter 5 review here. What do you know about XY in this figure? It is an angle bisector. How do we know this is an angle bisector?
Because the angles and the sides are equal.
Not the angles are equal. Because, these angles you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, because we have perpendicular, not that they're equal, because they could be equal and not be true. But if this length is the same and they are both perpendicular to the rays, then these angles have to be congruent, okay? So we know that this is an angle bisector. It's the exact same question that was on your first quiz, right? Okay, look at this one. This one always tends to give a little bit of confusion just with the concept itself. And it's usually because you didn't stop and really think about what makes sense. Because I think if you stop and think about what makes sense, you are all capable of getting this 100% right every time. What do you know about a midsegment and its relationship to the side that it's parallel to? So these are parallel, right? What other relationship do those two segments have? What other relationship other than their parallel do those two segments have?
The bottom one's twice as much as the
Yep, the bottom one, the one that's the side of the triangle, is always twice as much as the midsegment, right? This is a midsegment. It's always going to be half of the side across from it. So you have options. You can either double the one side or you can cut in half the other. But hear me. It gets done wrong a lot just because you're not thinking about what makes sense. So stop and think about it. Does it make sense right now to double this segment and then set it equal to that? No, right? If we double this, we're saying this is equal to this. That doesn't make sense, okay? So stop and ask yourself, does what I'm doing to this problem make sense before you try to solve it, okay? Same goes for if I try to cut this number in half, that would be a segment this long. Does that make sense to set equal to this segment down here? No, okay? So just use those beautiful brains of yours. I know you can. So let's think about this situation. What do we do here? You have two options. What were you going to say? What do we multiply by 2?
39.
The 39. So you can either say 3x is equal to 2 of that shorter segment, the 39. So 3x equals 78. And then divide by 3. So x is 26. Okay? Or you could have done what to the 3x?
Could have divided it and got 1.5, and then you would have had a mess.
Yep, you could have cut the 3x in half. So half of the 3x would have to equal the 39. So 1.5x would equal 39. And then when you divide by 1.5, you would get x is 26. So it really doesn't matter. You may do either. Don't do both. Don't cut one in half and double the other because those are not going to be equal anymore. Okay? Okay, now look at this one. Same idea. This is a midsegment. This is the side that it is parallel to. What are you going to do on this one? Would you double or cut in half? This one's very clear to me what I would do. Double. It makes way more sense to double on this one. So this is 2x, right? You're just going to double that 2x side, and you can set that equal to x plus 9. So 4x equals x plus 9. Take away the x. So 3x equals 9, and divide by 3. So your x value would be 3. Okay? How could you check that? That answer makes sense. Plug it back in, right? If we put a 3 here, then this side is 12. If we put a 3 here, this side is 6. Does it make sense for that to be 6 when that is 12? Yeah, it's half, right? That's what we're looking for. All right, number 4. This says that DF is 64 and GH is a mid-segment. That means, remember what a mid-segment means? You have a midpoint here and you have a midpoint here. Okay, I would mark that if I were you, just so you don't forget that those are congruent. Because what a lot of people did on the quiz is if DE is 49, okay, that whole side is 49. What they did when they said HF was 33 is they thought HF plus EH had to add up to 49, and it doesn't. What is EH going to be? 33, right? These two will be the same length. So this is going to be 33. So then when they say find the perimeter of that big triangle, the perimeter of this triangle is 49 plus 64 plus 33 plus 33. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to find the first one. What is GH going to be? 32. Half of this, right? Half of the 64. So GH is 32. Can anyone tell me what that equals? I didn't add it. Anyone have a calculator handy? What is it? 179. Good on that? Questions on that? Okay. Number 5 went a little wonky. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be angle A and angle B are acute angles, and the measure of angle A is 45, and angle A and angle B are supplementary. I don't know why all my angles turned to D's, but they did. What contradicts here? Don't say it, just think it. Think through those 3 statements and think about what contradicts, what cannot happen at the same time. And then tell your neighbor. All right, what do you think? Who thinks 1 and 2 contradict? Who thinks 2 and 3 contradict? Who thinks 1 and 3 contradict? Lots of 1s and 3s. Okay, let's take a look. So this one says these 2 angles are acute. What does it mean to be acute? Less than 90, okay? Can you have 2 angles that are less than 90 that add up to 180? No. The biggest they could be, if we're talking whole numbers anyway, would be 89 and 89, and that will only equal 178, which is not supplementary, right? So 1 and 3 are contradictions, okay? You can have a 45-degree angle and still have 45 and something else, right? That would be acute angle, so 1 and 2 work together. And if there was a 45-degree angle, is there an angle that would be supplementary to that? Yeah, 135, right? So that's how 2 and 3 could work together, but you cannot put 1 and 3 together. Okay, look at number 6. The first step of this proof. What do you have to do on every first step? 2 things. Assume, okay? So assume what? Which is? Right, so right now it says prove ABC is not an isosceles triangle. So you're going to say assume triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so you just assume the opposite. Make sure when you're assuming the opposite that you are covering every other option possible. Remember on that last quiz, if we're assuming the measure of, I forget what it was, angle C is less than 100, you have to say it's not less than 100 or it's greater than or equal to 100. So make sure you cover every other option with your negation, okay? Number 7, find the value of X. What do you know about this piece right here? It's a perpendicular bisector, right? And we know that a perpendicular bisector, those are those markings, has to be the same distance to O as it is to M, any point on that bisector, okay? Playing again? Hi there. So what do we do with that? If it's a perpendicular bisector? Do you remember? What? I don't know what you said. Enrique said it though. What is it?
I said equal.
They're equal. So we're going to say 4x plus 6 equals 6x minus 3. And then just solve for x. So take away your 4x. And then add your 3. Okay, so 2x equals 9. Divide by 2. So x is 4.5. Okay, so that's here. So then how do you find LO? You plug it in, right? So it's 4 times 4.5 plus 6. What? No. Why is that funny? You okay?
Yeah.
What is it? 10.5? I don't know what's going on in here right now, you guys. What's 4 times 4.5? What's 2 times 4.5? Here's how I do this in my head. 9, but we need 4 of them, so you have to double that. 18 plus 6, 24. Woo! Gotta work on that mental math. Okay. This one says list the sides in order from shortest to longest. What do you do? Find what? Angle T. Yes, find angle T. So you're going to subtract from 180, right? Anyone know what that is? That's
That would be like
65?
65.
65. Okay, so you have your 3 angles. You must find your third angle, okay? Once you have your 3 angles, what do? What's your smallest side, your shortest side? TU, across from the smallest angle, right? So that's TU or UT, either way. So which one's next?
Then it would be TV.
Then TV, across from the 59. Okay, and then across from the 65, U, UV, either way, would be in order. Okay. Okay, then this one, you're listing the angles instead. Should all feel very familiar, right? I just changed some numbers from your quiz. What is your smallest angle? So shortest side is 10, which means your smallest angle is angle K. Then M across from 12. And then across from the longest side is the biggest angle. All right, and then number 12, how do you get your range of possible lengths for your third side? Nico.
19 minus 14, that'd be the first one, and then 14.
Right, so if you subtract them, you get 5 for your low end, and then add them, and you get 33 for your high end, okay? You're welcome to set up the 3 inequalities. X plus 14 has to be greater than 19. X plus 19 has to be greater than 14. And 14 plus 19 has to be greater than X, right? Because that's the relationship we're looking for. But this finds those answers for us. So take away the 14. X is greater than, 5. This one becomes negative. So we ditch the negative one because you're not going to have a negative side length anyway. And then this one is X is, I'm going to flip it around, less than 33. Okay. Questions on that?